The ANC, as a progressive movement, should lead people for vaccination. So, the ANC, yakwa makhebisa ngeke ifane ne-ANC yase eMshwathi. Because uzothola ukuthi kunenkinga yama-drugs kulesi sikhathi kwamaqhibisa but ngapha eMshwathi kunenkinga yobugebengu nje general, and each branch must be able to develop a program based on its own challenges, its own dynamics. But we must lead. The ANC must restore its character of working with all community organizations and leaders. Now, comrades, before I sit down, let me give a reflection on few issues that are of provincial and national importance. The ANC has been grappling with issues affecting former President Comrade Jacob Zuma. The painful arrest of former President is the most bitter incident we have experienced in the recent years in the organization. This further fueled divisions in the society, as many among community members felt that the ANC had deserted former President Zuma. As the ANC, we have been taken aback by the recent judgment, as we believe that the medical parole was at least desirable given the former president's age and health conditions. And I must be clear here, we have been taken aback by this recent judgment. We believe that his age and medical conditions speak of their own. And therefore, it worries us whether this is not seeking to further polarize the community and divide us. Worse, when the judgment is then ordering the former president to pay cost while he didn't initiate the court process, never participated, but he should then pay cost. And that's why, as the ANC PEC, we resolved to engage with the national leadership on this matter. We strongly believe that the ANC cannot be a bystander, but rather need to engage on the matter. We are proposing to the ANC that we must be provided an opportunity to present our view as a friend of the court in support of the decision to grant former President Zuma a medical parole. But as we discuss this matter, unfortunately, and because of deep-seated divisions, when one speaks in support of former President Zuma, it gets interpreted as against the current leadership of the ANC. Equally, there are those who think that to be with the current leadership and to work with the president of the ANC, President Ramaphosa, stands against former President Zuma. So there is this tendency of extremists. Comrades have become extremists. No, if you are not with us, if you are with us, you must do this and do this and do this. Others believe if you support so and so, you must insult. Insulting is not in character, it's not in line with character of the ANC. And it's not leadership in the society. Now, this tendency is wrong. It pits the ANC against itself. Members of the ANC would say, no, if you support former President Zuma, you are undermining the sitting president. Or if you are working with the sitting president, it means you have deserted former President Zuma. Members of the ANC should analyze issues as they are, in totality, understand matters in their interconnectedness, And members of the ANC must not apply narrow analysis. Members of the ANC must avoid acting like the media, which will easily pit members of the ANC against each other. Members of the ANC must understand that in this case, we're also talking about unity of the ANC and unity of the people as a whole. Now, pigeonholing each other doesn't help. For me, it is narrow, because we may agree on one aspect and disagree on 2 or 3 other aspects. But it doesn't mean we are not in the ANC. We must coexist. And this narrow interpretation, in fact, encourage laziness. Because we must not think on our own. We must not be creative. We must not test new ideas. We must be told, no, it can't be. Members of the ANC must be allowed space to echo their views, and they must be heard. They must be listened to. They must debate. And therefore, yabas, akubona be ANC. We need to debate in the ANC. We need to ensure that in the ANC, we're frank on any issue. Once there is an issue that is discussed, and you feel uncomfortable, you must know that there is something wrong with your political consciousness. You feel that we must not debate this issue. No, not in the ANC. In the ANC, we must debate anything and everything, freely, but within structures of the ANC. And this goes to the use of the social media by the ANC members to divide the ANC. The social media is not meant for members of the ANC to insult each other, to grandstand as if one is more revolutionary than the other. In fact, we should all be promoting unity of the ANC, programs of the ANC, but don't be divisive in such platforms. Comrades, one of the issues that needs to be engaged in the public discourse is the character of the National Democratic Revolution. Who are we representing? Who are the motive forces of the ANC? Are we still the vanguard of the poor, unemployed, the fighting people whose condition is at the lowest because they were oppressed by the apartheid regime? The ANC earned the status of being a liberation movement through its concerted struggles and sacrifice as a liberation movement. It managed to galvanize our society against the agenda of the apartheid regime. Post-1994, the ANC have consistently campaigned on the promise for a better life for all, or creating a better life for all. For the recent local government election, the ANC campaigned on the motto, "Together building better communities." Despite the ANC achievements through social protection net, including free education, access to healthcare, social relief of distress and social grants, the living conditions of the majority of South Africans remains under distress. There is a great body of evidence from both ideological and academic spheres concurring that the ANC abandoned the economic transformative policies in favor of the neoliberal agenda. This includes the negation of the MEC, negation of the RDP, the introduction of GEAR, and deliberately sidelining of industrial policies. One of the things that happened in 2012 under President Zuma was the introduction of the black industrialist to change the economy of this country. Currently, the ANC is seen to be neglecting its own resolutions on radical socio-economic transformation. Whether you talk about land, whether you talk about supporting SMMEs, but the ANC seems to be found wanting on those issues that are about radical economic transformation. Radical economic transformation was adopted by the conference of the ANC and is a program of the ANC government and the ANC. The meaningful engagement in this debate is, however, and unfortunately, overclouded by mediocrity exposed by the so-called RET faction. This faction represents the antithesis of the values and the objective agenda of the NDR, and its conduct is at best counterproductive. You can't have people in the ANC calling themselves RET. RET is a program of all of us as the ANC. We cannot treat ourselves like a cabal. We can't reduce ourselves to a cabal. A cabal had its own operations within the broader liberation movement, the UDF. It will meet on the basis of race. So why we will have people who will define themselves outside the ANC and call themselves the RET, while the RET is the program of the movement? We acknowledge the weaknesses of the leadership on the implementation of the RET, the radical socio-economic transformation. But that does not mean there should be a group or a faction that appropriates the RET as a concept. It is a program of the ANC. It should be implemented by all structures and spheres of the African National Congress. With this expression, there is a greater doubt among the people that there will be a better life for all. The worst of it all is the high and unaffordable cost of living in the country, coupled or is on top of unemployment. And therefore, we need to revolutionize the ANC. We need to restore the character of the National Democratic Revolution, not only in theory, but in theory and practice. We need government that will be concerned about black industrialists and their support. Government that should be concerned about supporting SMMEs through including public procurement and make it easy for SMMEs to thrive. We need government that dismantles monopolies instead of entrenching the system of monopoly capital. And that is the character of the National Democratic Revolution. Lastly, comrades, we need to restore the values and discipline of the ANC. As the ANC itself has recognized on several occasions, the values of the ANC, that of service, selflessness, honesty. We need to ensure that we are of service to the people. We serve them selflessly, and we serve the people and the movement honestly. And we must deal with factionalism, patronage, and corruption. As the movement, we must ensure that we erode factionalism, patronage, and corruption from the ranks of the movement. As we work to root out corruption and other such behavior in the movement, we need to work to inculcate a culture of respect, discipline, mandate, consultation, and accountability. And I will repeat that. We need to inculcate a culture of respect, discipline, mandate, consultation, and accountability. We need to demonstrate to our communities that the ANC cadres care about their well-being. We need to ensure that we are always humble but responsive. We need to constantly remind ourselves and each other about the oath we all took when we joined the organization. And according to the Constitution, each and every one of us made a pledge, as I did, where I said, as I quote, I, Sihle Zikalala, solemnly declare that I will abide by the aims and objectives of the African National Congress as set out in the Constitution, the Freedom Charter, and other duly adopted policy positions. That I'm joining the organization voluntarily and without motives of material advantage or personal gains. That I agree to respect the Constitution and the structures and to work as a loyal member of the organization. That I will place my energies and skills at the disposal of the organization and carry out tasks given to me. That I will work to make the ANC an even more effective instrument of liberation in the hands of the people. And that I will defend the unity and integrity of the organization and its principles. And I will combat any tendency toward disruption and factionalism. This is a pledge that each and every member of the ANC took when joining the ANC. Thus, let us be loyal to the ANC. Let us combat factionalism. Let us deal with all tendencies. Let us ensure that all our skills are at the disposal of the movement. Comrades, we are confident that all of you will participate to this conference and make it a watershed moment. Your deliberations and engagement that will ensue will be in an atmosphere of high discipline, comradeship, and above all, a commitment to the people on whose behalf we serve. Allow me, on behalf of the ANC PEC, to thank the current RTT for the work it has done to stabilize the region and advance its programs since it was appointed. At this time, let me wish this conference well, great deliberations. I thus declare this conference open. Long live Moses Mapita, long live. Long live Erikwala, long live. Long live Comrade O.R. Tambo, long live. Mandla.